Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it is this time of the week again. And there are 5 new weekly shorts map that Nadeo gave us. Here they are, week 73, but first of all, as usual, we will have a look at the 5 weekly short maps from last week, which were sponsored by Formula E. So, here we go. First of all, we have this map, which I actually improved my PB on to manage a top 100 in this weekly shorts week, and Flechitas has the world record here. And then let's have a look with our ghosts. Going a bit to the right, inside line, and it was very important to land good, so have an inside line here, diagonal jump with a clean landing, and then still having a good angle for this turn. Yeah, so if you compare Flechitas with the others, then it's interesting that he went way further to the right in the start. So he is more inside here, however this pole is a bit in the way. Here you see it sticks a little bit into the track. He's going very close to it. So then here you see I land super inside, he lands actually quite outside. And it's very important to land as flat as possible, to do a lot of counter steering in the mid-air, so that you really want to you don't want to over angle it, you don't want to under angle, of course, you just have to have the perfect landing. Which he of course had in this case, because he goes then to the full inside here. The others of course mostly as well, just this guy here is very outside. It's interesting that he still is so close, because he has a much worse line, I would say. What you basically have to do here is now jumping very diagonal. I want to see how he jumps. As diagonal as you can to land super clean. This is also where my PB loses a lot to the other times. So now they land, and then when you land, you want to have a diagonal jump to jump full speed but land as early as possible, but also if you jump too diagonal, then you end up too far left for this last turn. And these people here, they seem to have a better angle for the last turn than Flechitas, and Pickle, the Pickle guy here, he has a really bad angle theoretically, but somehow he still manages to get a really clean line. And Flechitas had overall the best combination. And that's the first. I have to do the push-ups later. Not in the middle of my discovery, or in the start of it. So, we have Misto, Dara, Quick, Carl Jr. and Flechitas. Yeah, Misto has the world record and he went for the widest approach, interestingly. Also here, yeah, you just drive, and then comes this corner, and obviously you want to take as much speed through this as possible, while still having a good angle to the next right turn. Now, you see others are already starting to steer to the right. Misto is a little bit late, but still makes it. Like, you want to have this apex here with a great angle to the right and with as much speed as possible from before. And yeah, then interesting is everyone goes quite early into the slow-mo. Misto, however, goes very late into the slow-mo, so that means he takes the advantage of staying he drives a longer distance until hitting the slow-mo, which means theoretically also he goes with more speed into the slow-mo, being more outside here. Also in the end he gains it, of course, because he has a wider line here in the start. And the thing is, normally this line maybe would have been better, but since the outside of Misto is skipping slow-mo while the others are earlier in the slow-mo, the outside line is not that bad. So he, now while everyone else is super inside, He loses obviously a little bit, but not as much, because no, he took a bit longer to reach the slow-mo. So, and now, I mean, everyone hits it, of course, perfectly on the apex, but Misto as well. And with the outside line, he could obviously go away from the break earlier, so he gets more exit speed perfectly. But yeah, it is still tough for him to get around here, that's for sure. Like, he has great speed, but he has to land a slightly angled. So it's tough to survive, but it was enough. Like, he doesn't really have much overspeed anymore when he goes into the finish, because he cannot land straight here. He had to angle his car to make it around. And then also he basically jumps into this uphill block, and this makes him lose speed again from the overspeed that he initially had. But overall it was enough. So, next one. Yeah, this is of course a nice map. I think everyone is doing that line that... No, actually not. The world record is doing the line that I did. Where do they actually gain? Yeah, obviously they have a lucky bounce, and then they have this like... What the fuck is even happening? I mean, this is the thing. There is this ramp. And look how Akupne, who had the best wallbang here, also Akupne had like a mega run early on, so there's even much more possible than Limon's run. But Limon has the perfect end. You see, Akupne is approaching this ramp on the edge, and then the left wheels get, from the car, from our perspective, the right wheels basically get stuck there, and he just gets pushed. And because plastic, he doesn't lose any speed, or not as much. But Limon, I think, what is this? I think, also you see when Akupne approaches this ramp, his front tire from our side on the left is going up the ramp normally, while the other tires are not going up the ramp. This is his idea of driving it, and this is also how I would expect it to be driven. So that the underside of the car or the side of his one wheels they are actually touching the plastic edge. But Limon actually, like, he does not touch the ramp at all. He just bounces again. He drives against the ramp on the side. Look, there is no tire going up. He just bounces against the ramp, and for whatever reason the car jumps. How does his car jump there? He just drives against plastic and he bounces up from it. And then lands also mega early here. What the fuck? And Turbomaster must have had the same, right? Yeah, Turbomaster had the same. How's this possible? So, but now, interesting is, of course, Dara. Because Dara got second with a very different approach. There were, of course, some different lines. Ah. Okay. I have never seen that though. Also, first of all, he makes a plastic bounce on the sea from what was it? Raceborn? He makes a plastic bounce on the sea. That's already very interesting. He is behind all the other ghosts, but the idea is that he has a bit more speed. However, whatever he does now also worked for the other guy that does the same strat. And I used this ramp. The ramp here was always a bit annoying because it literally just ended nowhere. But they actually managed to land on their nose. Then the car bounces up from the nose, and they used the border there as a ramp to jump up, and they jump both perfectly over this fence. Directly to this ramp. So the most direct line possible, basically. They just have a little bit of airtime, basically. But it's like the most straight line ever. And you can really wonder how the heck is it possible that this is not world record if you have such a direct approach. Compared to the others that drive fully to the side. That's also interesting. Okay. Now Andretti by Tona with a WR world record. Now you have to know how you go over these boosters. How do they give you the most amount of speed? Then a bit of speed sliding, and then this last turn, and you have to finish very far left, because the finish is actually angled. And now we are stuck in this camera, yay. Yeah, I think he just, it's an 80% steering. What the fuck? I just wanted to see it. Just full steer, right? I expected full steer here. But he's actually full steering with action key. And then he goes action key. This is so crazy. These keyboard players. They go from action key for right steering. And then when they switch from right and go to left, at the same time they also press action key 2. Oh wait, actually? Yeah, no, that's just a visual bug that it goes down from 80 to 0 like that. Like at the same... Like you have to control so many keys at once. What the fuck? Naja, okay. I don't even know where... If I was a player, a keyboard player, I don't even know where I would put all these action keys. Naja, okay, let's go next. And WR with another world record. He cooked in this week. Actually, it is an equal with Quick. Actually, a bit behind. Gets this good. A bit wider. So there was not a question here, maybe WR can tell in the chat, but it looks to me as if some people actually waited slightly to get more wet tires, because not everyone is literally equal here. Or is it just me being behind because I went for that? No, I think that Quick is also a bit behind in this fire guy. You could wait a little bit in the water and then you have more wet tires. Yeah, otherwise it's just clean driving. Very difficult here with the camera to hit these perfectly inside. Alright. This is the week, and to not a big surprise, WR was dominating this week, won with a big margin ahead of Flechitas. What were actually the prizes again, WR? Was it only for first or was it for top 3? And what exactly were the prizes? And I got 80 seconds, so I managed to get top 100. Thanks to my improvement on the first map that I did. The second map actually almost dropped out of top 100, so lots of people have hunted it again. Interestingly to me was, at some point before I did this improvement, I was 99th, but very strange, I was 99th overall, even though I only had one single map in the top 100. And I've never seen that you are top 100 with only one single map being in the top 100, and this map that was in the top 100 was also not a good position. It was like 60th. I've never seen that you would actually be top 100 overall with that. So it was a very strange in this week. Very strange. But okay. It obviously helps if there are some people actually having multiple of these top records, then that the chances are higher for something like that. But yeah, let's go new week. First was Formula E tickets, second was a car, and third to fifth were stuff from Nadeo. What do you mean with a car? What kind of car? a model car, so I thought the real car image. Then I want to be second. Yeah, imagine you would win a Formula E car. Or I would actually hunt. I would try hard here. If you could win a Formula E car. Or if you could win a ride in a Formula car. I mean, I would prefer Formula 1 obviously, but I would take Formula E as well. Yeah. Now this is a map where you have to think. What the heck? Also first of all, we have freewheel, which means the more diagonal you go, the more speed you would have over it, but I don't know if it's worth it. You have to make cars on to figure that out. So now, however, comes the difficult section. Booster and no brake. It is very annoying that you cannot brake in this corner because it avoids that you can just stay easily inside and not jump here. So it's, at the moment it's like a NASCAR corner. Now the question is, the way this is shaped, do you want to maybe jump here on the inside, use that it's a bit more steep and you maybe can jump and get a bit of rotation like that, or do you actually take this long outside there? We need to get that CP, so is there any way to cut over to that CP? I mean, there are borders everywhere, and then yeah, I don't think that you can really do that. So and then when we have this checkpoint, the thing is that we have cruise control. So on the one hand, we want as much speed as possible onto the cruise control, but we also have to make sure to get around this corner. Yeah, but I don't really see many different things that you could do. So let's take a bit more speed. Is it worth it? Probably not. No. Ah yeah, here you have also a possible jump to get rotation, but I'm not sure if that's worth it. I thought about something like this, you know. I have the Omega speed, but I might have too much speed that I don't get around here. You can actually drift with the cruise control. You can also take the penalty. That's the thing. Like, here are multiple options. You can stay completely on the tarmac. Here's no way, no? No. Yeah, you can stay completely on the tarmac, but you could also use the penalty. In this case it was bad though. We could also do a small drift. Let's take the most direct line, you know. That's an outside line. Only if you play comps that I am playing. I was there because Haken and Nick were about. Also Haken asked me if we go voice chat together for the BYMC, but not really now. I just mute now, bum. Now I'm muted in Discord. So this is my one idea. Seems to be not that bad, to be honest. Because otherwise I need to release so much. So I think taking this is a small help. Now I have a lot of speed. Do I even get around with that? I would. Hello. Yeah, too fast, that's the thing. Too fast. Maybe I try to drift next time. And I end up with that much speed. It's very unsatisfying that in that moment when you push one corner, the next corner gets worse. But this would have worked. Could be a drift, I don't know. That was stupid. That was a good run, but I failed the drift. But this would have been a big improvement if I got it through. Well, it's crazy how long you keep the drift, the grip on. Yeah, there we go, 2/10. Yeah, so I think that I have the right idea on this map. Thousands. Mwah! 4,000s again? No. Okay. 553rd. To be honest, for how good this run was, I'm not happy with the position. I would have expected a better position, to be honest. The annoying thing with the drift is how you slide so much out. You are not really, you don't stay inside in the end. Maybe I have to brake at a different moment, because this run definitely had potential. But I do still think that I need to go for the drift. I don't want to make any experiments with this kind of start, because what the fuck did I just do? 24th. Okay, now I'm happy with the position. But what the heck happened? Such a good run. This turn here couldn't have been any better. Yeah, and also just outside of the penalty grass. But maybe it's also fine if you touch it. I don't know. Maybe you could even go a bit more inside and touch the penalty. Yeah, I guess that this drift was actually good. Okay. Let's go next. Tech map again for map 2. Like slow tech. Oh wait, there's grass and dirt. Oh my god. More grass. More dirt. Oh. More grass. Not so much tech. Ha! I can watch a record because I was too bad to reach 80. Okay, interesting line. Yeah, but here I'm losing a lot of time. I think I can improve that. And here I lost a lot. Yeah, he had a much better jump, or I have to copy that line. Oh my god, all the vehicles speed sliding into the finish. And then equal. Go full inside. Ach, I'm so dumb. There's even more. Oh, is it possible? You cannot judge water. Oh, I don't know. It's good enough here. I forgot again where to jump. Then I released because I thought, oh, the deadline I definitely overjump, but I wasn't. Yes. I did watch F1. After my stream yesterday. Nice. Yeah, it was actually an interesting race. It's just... I'm just surprised there was no rain at all. $256. But what was that from Leclerc again in the ending? Why does he throw so hard? I was quite annoyed regarding my F1 fantasy team. Because I decided to put Hülkenberg in. Last moment I decided, okay, let's take Hülkenberg. I wasn't sure if I want to. And then at the beginning of the sprint race, there was the deadline. At 59, the commentators say Hülkenberg is not gonna start today. And I was like, no shit, I immediately ran to the computer, tried to get Hülkenberg out of my team, but it was too late. And not only did he not start that sprint race, he of course also had to completely DNF the real race. What the fuck, eh? So I got the worst possible points out of him. Then I had of course Lawson, who also DNF'd. Amazing, even more minus points. Yeah, I don't know, I didn't read any news now, but what was the reason for Leclerc to spin in the last lap? Was there any technical issue that made him spin, or was it? I couldn't really tell. Thanks for the follow, Luke Skippy. Any tips for me as a new player? Basically, just playing a lot, it helps. Understanding. When you drive against your ghost, understanding what makes you faster. I think weekly shorts are interesting to start with hunting because you learn quite a lot. Watching my videos, of course, helps generally always. I always said there is a TM School club where you can learn the different surfaces and styles. I'm not sure if that's with all the content that we have, if it's still necessary. Because the maps are a bit yacked there. Some of these campaigns are super old. If it was his own fault, then yeah. Really dumb from Leclerc. Also I got of course a decent place already with that PB, so it's not that slow apparently, I was not aware that it was already that good. Ugh, 7,000. This jump in the end is quite strange. Not good. Did I ever play at the TM World Cup? No, because TM World Cup was always just stadium. And I have of course a background coming from Trackmania United forever. Well, there was also one Canyon edition. That is actually the closest I've been. There was once Canyon at ESWC, and I was like one finalist round away from qualifying to that. Then I would have been in the top 8 of Canyon and would have been at the ESWC for Canyon. But it wasn't meant to be. It was also a very bad timing, all of that, and it also hurt in my studies. Back then there was a lot of stuff going on in Trackmania, with Canyon being a rather new environment, with Trackmania 2 coming out, and I also had some very important exams in my studies, and I was already failing one exam twice, so it was quite important to actually get it done. Okay, PB, 112, I try a bit further. So it was as the third part of that exam came up, and it was my last chance basically to make it. And it was at the exact same time where also this ESWC qualification was happening, and in the end I failed everything. I failed the ESWC and finalist. I also failed that exam. I was still able to continue with studying though, but I basically went into the new bachelor for meteorology, which had a few different things, but I could basically just restart my study, but with some things already branded basically from the lectures that I already did successfully in the old bachelor. So I could still continue with studying, and I also eventually got the bachelor. But at that point it was close to a complete failure, because there were interesting and too important Trackmania things colliding with the most difficult exams. But some of you might also have these issues. Happens to some of us. Wasn't Canyon where backwards driving was faster? Yeah, and that's where I discovered that. Yeah, but Stadium, I never attempted it to go into the World Cup, especially back in the days. It was always just tech. Literally just Stadium tech. There was no mixed. And that's of course bigger boring was also nothing for me. So there was no way that I qualify for that. It got more interesting than with the end of Team 2 and then also the beginning of here Team 2020. when they actually switched over from full tech to mixed and with some identities. But that was then at that point I was already too old to really full practice and so on for that. It was just a bit too late for me. If they came up with such tournaments earlier, then maybe I would have still tried. Because I think TMGL with the identities, that was in the beginning a great chance. Since the typical players that were qualified for that were tech players. And tech players were easy to beat on stuff that is not tech. And especially with these identities. And it could have been even very easy to get into TMGL if I was not in the German region. Because there was a qualifier for the first TMGL. But that qualifier, 2 people made it actually. But it was not just Germany, the region that we had, it was Germany combined with Austria and maybe even the third one. And yeah, I mean, it was Roland qualifying back then. And was it Ryu? I think no. Was it Dexter? Or was it Revolution? Is Dexter? I guess Dexter and Roland were the 2 to qualify. I wasn't even far away from qualifying myself, but the problem was that the qualification maps to get into TMGL and the race that we did were a completely different style. Like there was literally just a normal tech map in there. And there was also another super normal map. And then people qualified, and those people that qualified through these qualifiers got faced in the TMGL with these maps with identities. Which was super strange. Because those were not necessarily, also the people that qualified were not necessarily the best people for what came up then with these identities. Yeah. So if I was in a different region I might have qualified and then would have had a great chance in the first years. But TMGL is of course also not the World Cup. World Cup was I think still pretty much tech for quite some time. I have been however in Serrator Cup finals. Sadly, however, I didn't make it into those Serrator Cup finals and not even into the semi-finals. At that point when Serrator Cup finals and semi-finals were hosted at the big stage in a big arena, I never made it there as a player, sadly. I was a bit unfortunate. But yeah. You still have a chance, yeah? Go. I think my PB is pretty decent. I definitely could still improve it. Here I can gain a lot, but then I have a bad angle. Ah! I always want a little bit too much here. You need to hit this so perfectly. Look, this is exactly what you can gain there in the end. Main problem is that stuff like World Cup and so on, it always requires training, practice. And I did do a lot of training and practice until 2013, and then it rapidly stopped. Then I was losing interest in putting many hours into practice. Because if you then have a bad result, so you invested a lot of time into something and then you don't get a good result out of it still, then it's just very depressing kinda. You wasted basically a lot of time. You feel like you wasted a lot of time. And yeah, I think that if you get older, then you also start to lose interest in that. Like, I also have been mega motivated to grind certain maps when I was younger. But it just stopped at some point. I just don't have the interest in grinding super long. Like, actually I wanted to play Germany and I wanted to also get the F1. That was my idea 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. Let's do this. But now during this week I was never feeling like, yeah, let's go full lock-in Germany practice every day, 5 hours. Theoretically, as I didn't have to do the Red Bull, no, I had theoretically an advantage against other players that I could have invested more time into Germany as well. It was maybe the best week. But I couldn't motivate myself too much. Yeah, next of the week. What is the theme of this next of the week today? Ah, shit, that could have been a really good one. Interesting, but I think I have to say no, because like, it is stupid to interrupt the Weekly Shots discovery for the video that I want to do. By the way, in normal case, I actually would have stopped today after BYMC and would have gone to the supermarket now between 21 and 22 o'clock. And also I needed some new fuel in my car, so I would have done that as well. This is how I used to do it. But in Germany there is a rule now, the politics decided that at the petrol station the price can only once in the day get raised. And not like that it raises and falls again and raises and falls. No. They can only raise the price once, and that is at 12 o'clock. That's the rule that Germany did. And probably they hoped that the price is going up at 12, but then it goes gradually down again. And then you would think it would be perfect to go deep in the evening to the petrol station. You would think, yeah, this is where it's the cheapest. But no. What actually happens is that, as at least at my petrol station, what actually happens is that the price is the lowest right before 12 o'clock. And then at 12 o'clock, the price per liter jumps by 11 cents. For everything. Jumps by 11 cents. So it's much more expensive than at 12 o'clock. And then the price just remains that way until the end of the day. So basically, if you would go to the petrol station now at the end of the day, you pay the highest price of the day. Because it doesn't go down after 12. So today I actually went to the supermarket and to the petrol station already at 11:30, right before 12. But is that annoying? Also first of all, that means I have to wake up that early. But yeah, first of all, at the petrol station, I was of course not the only one with the idea to go there right before 12 AM. No, everyone does that. I had a 15-minute waiting time to get to the fuel. Because there were so many cars. Which is of course super annoying, because usually it was always mega chill for me. Then I go very late, nobody was there, it was also usually rather cheap at that time. But no, now it's like super annoying. So now everyone goes there at the same time, and then after 12 probably nobody will go there. It's just stupid. So I was forced to go to the supermarket early because I always combine it with going to the petrol station. Mini improvement, but actually down into the top 100. Okay, let's do 2 or 3 more tries. As I didn't have a good start. But I had a decent landing there, as you saw. Drifted too far out. Spring Monthly, I got 3rd. I got actually sniped with a cut. I would have actually still stayed in. But there was a possible cut at the finish, and the guy that made a mistake in the start and was behind, it was his only chance, and then he hit it perfectly. Like, I did of course everything correct, because when you're in front, then you don't go for a risky cut there, because you have the lead, and he did everything correct because he was behind, and the cut was his only chance to overtake someone. And then he got it so good that he actually got me. That was annoying. Ah, that was a good attempt. Oh my god. Yeah, it's nice to have low airtime, the way I just got that, but then your ankle is so shit. It's also like a compromise between different lines. Ah. Oh my god, that... Yeah, that would have been an improvement of 400s. Oh, that was a good attempt. This grass wall rate is just so strange as well. Figuring out what the best line is. I thought this was the run now, because I had a good grass wall rate, plus I had also a good line afterwards. But somehow it wasn't as fast. Yeah, this is here. Nah, what? Nah. Yeah, of course now I landed. When Enduro, yeah, I played it, and there was also no Rosa, no Granati, was my chance basically. And I used the chance as well. I won it. Just 20 seconds lead or something. Got PB in the last lap even. And the cool thing was, I was fast enough so that the Grand Enduro race for me ended exactly at 5 PM. Exactly, I could basically leave the Grand Enduro server and then immediately joined the seeding for EWC, and then I PB'd there. So here we go, 49th. This last turn could have been better, but I got a sub. Many people will go for the sub though. But I will probably not stay top 100 if I don't play the map again. But this was now a good start. And then here, try to land a bit further up, but you can land earlier, you know, and landing earlier will actually make quite a difference. Surely I just drove the fastest line. Is there only one finish? Yeah. Maybe we have a checkpoint. Either there or there. Okay. this looks to be already quite a good line. Not completely sure yet if I want to land this in a bug slide or not. Yeah, we'll also try that. Try to get just a better run with this approach here for now. Yeah, okay, that's not right. So how did I get to the other line? It is there. That's the thing. Like, what is even the line to get onto this road? Like, I would think that only makes sense if you come from that platform up here. But it's also not a great way. Otherwise, naja, we have of course here reactor and a booster, so yeah, but oof. Very strange to go like that. If you take the outside here, can we make this jump? I would be surprised. I want to test it at least. How the heck shall I make this? Also this here with this bug slide had better potential. But not good enough. Is there anything else that you can do on this track? It's so strange because you would think there must be a better way to get there, but I don't see it. Like, it definitely won't be doing an hairpin there, so... At the moment I would think I do exactly what a ghost did, or... yeah, I mean, here is nothing, so... I jump always to here, and I do... No. I try to improve my time. Maybe it's just this, and then you have to get it as good as possible. Doesn't update, sadly. I would really like to know what position that is now. Because I just went under sub. That was good. 298, guys. Also, this is not too bad. I think it is literally just very easy to figure out that line here. Not impossible that the others in front of me just got slightly better. But I have to say that my run was pretty nice, so it won't be easy for me to improve. I guess I just have to make sure to get earlier to the left here, so that I get more of the boost. (172nd). No, what? This was a PB actually. Okay. Didn't even look like it. Dude, minus 12th. 23rd. Okay, here we go. Just keep the nose slide there. And then super inside here. The really good landing. Yeah, could probably even improve it further because the start didn't feel perfect. Bit crazy, no? When I was 5,800th, I was really like, did I really get the correct line here? So, speed map. Also, there's a checkpoint. Just want to make sure. That's the only checkpoint even. But as long as you cannot overwall this, I mean, I can try. There's a bit of elevation, but this fence most likely doesn't work. I mean, you do get over it. And I also just had the idea that you can use like the inside here, especially in the start chicane, but where would you want to go with it? Most likely it's not possible. Oh! Lars! Already now? That's so early. Thanks a lot. Hello everyone. Thanks for the raid. Yeah, as you see, I'm doing a weekly shots discovery. I got some really good results in the first 3 maps. Everything in the top 50. Now I'm just on the... basically just started with the 4th map. Lars, what do you say about Formula 1? 8 world records, 9 ATs dedicated to Noise. Nice to see you winning 5th place on my map. This time I decided to give players something normal. Yeah, was of course great for me that there was so much old car involved. I have no idea how I was able to win with the round that I had. It was complete garbage. I had 2 crashes, like, how was that ever good enough? So I think there was so much more possible. I never thought I could win the BYMC finalist with a run like this. Seems like I'm always going too far outside, actually. I thought I have more speed to the end, but seemingly not. Now I still wonder, is there something that I might miss on this track? Is there something else? Not that there is a second finish or something. But is literally my line not optimal here? Because the PB run, I got it very quick, this PB run, but it feels good. It's like getting right. But yeah, maybe just a different approach here on the first turn can already make a change. Different angle here. Verstappen even looks good when he makes mistakes. Yeah. Also saw a YouTube comment, I think it was, where someone said, "Well, that was such a nice save from Verstappen." He was, and then someone else answered, "Also Verstappen did in the start of the race 3 mistakes. He had a bad start, then he locked up in the first turn, and then he even spun." But people of course say, "Oh, what a nice save of that spin." Yeah, then he even made the mistake with the pit exit, but he gets driver of the race. The driver of the race was in this case, I think, just because he made the most, like, he made it interesting, this race. Because he had so many, and the crazy thing is how quick he went through the field, like, how quickly he overtakes everyone. But then on the other hand, like he also counts on everyone then basically giving up on the place. Because the way how late he breaks into corners, he always forces the other drivers to give him this room then. So but since nobody wants to get a DNF that easily, yeah. And by the way, Lars, also in F1 Fantasy, yeah, I decided very late, like it was very difficult to decide for the drivers, and I decided then for Hülkenberg. And then at 17:59, right before the sprint race started, no, I opened the stream and I just say, yeah, Hülkenberg cannot start. And I was like, scheiße. And I quickly ran to my PC to get him out of the team, of one of my teams. I have him in both of my good teams. Of course, it was too late. I made the change, but the change already counts for the next race. Now I changed him out and already lost one. But only of one of the teams, from my father. I couldn't log in quick enough to on my Smurfen team account, and now I had Hülkenberg in, and I mean, he cannot get more minus points than this. I mean, what the fuck? It is so bad. And then also Lawson with the DNF, but Lawson was like, you had to take him because of the money. But yeah, stupid with Hülkenberg, yeah. I already had a bad feeling taking him. Yeah, that was really annoying. And I also thought that going from Russell to Antonelli was a mistake when the sprint race started and Antonelli fell behind, and I was like, oh no, another mistake. Of course, now that I take Antonelli, he's not performing. But no, he was performing in the end. I mean, I expected him to perform because this is his map. Also, track, rather. What? Is this the line? It's at least better. Still lost some. This last turn is so strange to drive, I don't know. Also here in the start, like sometimes I get a bit of grip loss, and other times I don't. And super inside with that ghost. And got around. And this extra speed with such a wide line is like never enough to catch up for some reason. I only caught up 400. You would think it was much better. Ah, that was okay. Yeah, wow, even with 3 transfers, wow. So many transfers. How does that fantasy league thing work, if it's explainable? Basically for each race weekend, you choose 2 constructors and 5 drivers. But you have only a limited budget, so each constructor and driver costs certain money basically. So you cannot just take the best teams and best drivers. You have to decide where you spend, also how you spend your money. You have to also take some cheaper constructors and drivers. The thing is, it's not a problem to take cheaper ones because you get points. Also of course for the race result, also you get the normal points that the drivers get for their championship and constructors, that's the one thing. You also get points for qualifying in the top 10 only though, and for constructors, yeah, if they get both into Q2 or both drivers into Q1, there are also some points given out. But interesting is the fact that you do get points for positions lost or positions gained during the race, and you also get points for overtakes in the race. And that means that if you have drivers that have bad qualifyings, the thing is, in the qualifying, each driver gets 0 points, no matter if he starts at 22nd or at 11th. you always get 0 points for that qualifying performance. And if you have a driver that starts far behind and then he makes it up to, let's say, 13th, which is still no points in the championship, but it makes him basically gain 9 positions, which is 9 points. And if he overtook all of them on the track and not just doing pit, if it were on track overtakes, then it's another 9 points. So that means people that are actually going from 22nd up to 13th, or let's say Cadillac, no, Bottas or something, starts maybe in last position, and then there are 4 DNFs in the race, and this is why he finishes like in 17th or somewhere there. He actually gained positions then. And this is how you actually get good points. Otherwise, there are points for the driver of the race, which is of course just a stupid voting, which often doesn't make any sense. And sadly there are lots of points, and sadly there are also lots of points for the driver with the fastest lap, because that's also completely random who drives that. That's strategic. So it was more interesting when drivers actually got points for that, but now it is more like a thing like which strategy did you actually do in the race that decides if you have even a chance for that. So the system is still a bit stupid. But yeah, the annoying thing is, like in this fantasy thing, you get punished hard when you choose a driver that actually has a DNF. It just is so many minus points, and you only have a good chance if you kinda avoid those drivers. And yeah, in this race it didn't really take long, and I had 2 DNFs in my lineup already. I was, by the way, very sad that it didn't rain, because I had a working shift on Friday, on the 1st of May, and I actually, so I'm weatherman, and I actually checked in my program how the weather is in Miami on Sunday, because I already heard rumors of rain, and it really looked grim. I'm very surprised that I could hold a full race and there was actually nothing happening. That is crazy. I mean, I moved it forward, which made it quite tough with possible spoilers for me. Oh, I'm so close all the time. I'm still surprised it worked out that well, because like when I checked the weather on Friday, it looked like that also a few hours earlier on Sunday it would be already quite bad. But yeah, somehow it worked out for them. They had actually perfect. Maybe the weather forecast also changed slightly. What is cool is of course the fact that all 4 teams are close together. It seems to be that just Ferrari has issues with tire degradation. Like, they are very, very good. They have a good car, but the tire degradation is just really an issue. On the long run in the races they fall behind. But overall, and that is very surprising, new regulations, and we have 4 teams rather close together. We have to of course wait for Mercedes update to the next race. And to be honest, Canada, however, is also a very good track for Mercedes. Like always has been in the past. Same as Miami was always a good map track for McLaren. But Canada is usually very good for Mercedes, so I expect him to be good anyway, even if they wouldn't bring an upgrade. But then afterwards, it starts to become really interesting, I think. It's cool to see that with McLaren there is now also another team up there, and then also Verstappen is back up there. But what is still sad is it's again those 4 teams. I was really hoping hard that with these regulation changes that we will actually see some other team, like some surprise. I mean, Alpine made it up into the front of the midfielders, okay. But I mean, some other team really far up, that would have been nice. The biggest hopes, of course, were lying on Aston Martin, but yeah. At least they managed to finish this race and then also ahead of Cadillac. Yeah, also as much as Miami is a typical Antonelli track, Canada is a Russell map. Oh, 1000 improvement, holy moly. But there are of course again people that are saying, ooh, Russell, that does not look good, Antonelli now faster than him. I wouldn't be that worried, because Russell was not very lucky this season so far. In Miami now, he was clearly the slower driver, but already last year Antonelli was actually really good on this track. So this is like just an Antonelli track, but the gap was indeed quite large. But in the other races, Russell was just unfortunate, let's say. Because that could have been a good attempt here. He was just unfortunate because in the second race he had only one shot in the qualifying and had to save a lap in, and he got still second. But because he was in second, he was then at the start vulnerable to the Ferraris and lost of course time to his teammate because of that. Then there was, when he cleared the Ferraris, there was this safety car thing and the double stacking as well. And always when the safety car ends, he was then again the one driver that was basically in danger from the Ferraris, who usually always have good starts and who usually always have good restarts after safety car. So he was always in this shit situation and lost time again. So yeah, that is just the reason why Antonelli had it pretty easy to get a win there. And then on the next race in Japan, Russell would have been ahead of Antonelli, obviously. But Antonelli just had a lucky timing. Also, usually that would have been, in 3 races, Russell would have been twice ahead. But since Antonelli then actually even got a win gifted from the, I don't even know, was it just full safety car or was it just VSC, one of the two? But in the end, Antonelli took big advantage, of course, and now then some races didn't take place where, who knows, maybe Russell would have been good, but they actually on so many Trackmania terms, they actually drive exactly that one race where the track fits Antonelli super well. Yeah, it's of course a bit unfortunate for Russell until now. He, however, was lucky to get 4th in the finish in Miami, so he didn't lose as many points. It's crazy, no? You would think this is a wider corner, I have more speed, like I should gain more than what I'm actually gaining. Huh. Also it's definitely true that Russell always gets overtaken. He was, however, also unlucky. There was something with his energy. He lost like a place very easily, where he just randomly got slow. And then remember Suzuka, where Russell also had suddenly this energy issue, where he was suddenly randomly slow and then got overtaken. And because he got overtaken there, this is like one of the reasons why he had no chance to catch up to Piastri in the end, I think. Because he took then too long to overtake back the position that he lost randomly by a battery issue. So it's always a bit strange, and was of course just unfortunate for him. But yeah, there's still a long season ahead. So in my opinion, I have the same feeling like last year with Norris and Piastri. At the moment, because now this is the first time that they have this opportunity, in my opinion Russell deserves it. Because he had not a chance to drive the Mercedes when the Mercedes was the fastest car. Just when the Mercedes was not the fastest car, then he got into the team. He did very well against Hamilton and so on. He had an incredible last season where he basically was flawless the whole year along. Got even some victories out of it. And next to Verstappen, he was last year probably the best driver. And now I think just he deserves it because of that. And similar I felt with Norris last year. In my opinion, Norris deserved it because of the years beforehand, where he was all the time in McLaren, where it was not the best car yet, at least not over a full season. And he was always very good against his teammates, as especially Daniel Ricciardo had like no shot against him at all, and Piastri was in the year before also still a bit behind. In my opinion, Norris deserved it from the years before. And similar feeling I have with Russell. Like Antonelli still has a lot of years, so I'm kind of cheering for Russell. But generally, I'm happy if we have a new world champion. Generally, like if it's Antonelli, then it's also fine. If it's Leclerc, it's also fine. If there's a new world champion, I'm happy. But I think Russell deserves it maybe the most at the moment because of his great last year. So I think I'll take this. Let's go next. Yeah, he has some... I can understand when people don't fully like him, but in that case, I at the moment don't care regarding his positions. Okay, I need to understand how to drive this the best. Oh. Okay, good at first run with my position 11,000, but I cannot improve it immediately. Is there a different line here in the start, or is this just the logical line? So you can go this way, but why would you? I don't know how you play a wet plastic with snow car. Never did it. Ah, look at this. This was faster. Yeah, Gasly also has a good year so far. If the car remains that competitive as it is right now, maybe Gasly has a chance in Interlagos, but it's still a long time until then. Gasly is like, no, Mr. Interlagos. This is his map. Track. Man, I always say map. Fuck it. Could I have done anything? So you can definitely know slide is very good. Is there a way where I would go full left here? Yeah, but is there a way to stay on track? I haven't actually checked cuts yet. I mean, I can obviously jump out of this corner. But yeah, I don't know if you have any chances with lucky bounces, most likely not. Ah. Yeah, this is what you want to do. Yeah. Surely the ducks can help me there. I'm still not sure about this, what I'm trying here. Start is still a bit unclear to me. Because I actually need to turn quite hard in this first corner so that I have good angle here. Yeah, now here I want to hit something and go to the left, ideally. Yeah, some bounce like this, but into the other direction, ideally. Oh, there was another. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. There is surely a way, but you cannot really plan it. You have barely time to react, and you have also not much control over the car. The easiest way is definitely straight through. Do you think that Bayern will win the Champions League? I mean, it depends on what happens tomorrow. It will be an epic game tomorrow, but with those two teams everything is possible. Like from a, again, super close game to that actually one team wins super high. It's also possible. Like in the first game, for example, like it almost happened that Paris is going into like a... Oh, wait. No, that's good. It almost happened that Paris is getting then one goal after the next and that Bayern completely falls. Could have happened. Didn't happen, luckily. But that can happen again. Could also happen that Bayern wins very high. It's like everything possible there. You would think that whoever wins of those two is most likely, also definitely the favorite for the final. If they are also winning that final, I don't know. Oh, it works. Even without the ducks. I found some grip. Yeah, it's like unclear to me when I have grip and how much. Hope you enjoyed my bobsleigh map in WMC today. Let me think which map that was. Ah, the first one. Yeah, very interesting map. I had no idea how to drive it though. I just went full YOLO. I did anti-Mario strat. And just full YOLO'd into everything. Because I was clueless how I could control anything. Ah, man, duck, give me like a left bounce here. This is exactly what I'm asking for here. Yeah. Ah. And boom. Yeah, there we have it. This would be optimal. Yeah, also if Bayern does not win, then I kinda would like to see Atletico win as well. Because they were so close. And they are trying so hard for so long. And I don't necessarily like how they play football. But after all these years, I think still that it would not be undeserved if they get at least this one title, plus their trainer. I'm trying to hit this duck there with the back of my car. Always close, but always miss it slightly. Nah, 2000s. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean... Real Madrid is, of course, kinda the team and club that I like the least in Champions League. It's crazy how often we got knocked out against them, and it was really often the case that we had referees that hurt Real Madrid massively. Also, I don't know, it felt also extremely unfair and very sus. I'm really happy that Bayern got through this year at least. I got reminded what happened last season with Bayern versus Real, where Bayern scored a goal, but the referee already ended the match. He ended the match in the attack and Bayern scored a goal. It would have gone into extra time. Like, I mean, what the heck, no? And that is not the only thing, like, it was just an extra after so many years with already some referee decisions that were helping Real. That's crazy. Ah, then, stuck. The craziest season to me, I don't know, was it 2 or 3 years ago? Real Madrid ended up winning it. It was the last season that Toni Kroos was there, so I guess 2 years ago. Real Madrid ended up winning that season of Champions League, but they should have been eliminated already against Leipzig in the first KO round. Because Leipzig was the better team, and they scored the most goals, but randomly Leipzig goals were then just not given, and Real Madrid got a goal that was not a goal, but they just got it. So actually, if you just take correct decisions, they lost. But they were made winning, and this is how they actually got through. And then it continued over also some other games with more weird decisions, and then they ended up winning this, and this was like the most undeserved win of a Champions League ever, in my opinion. Like, they would have been eliminated already super early, and it would have been deserved as well. Like, how they were actually going further every single time, also, I don't know. Ah, then that could have been such a good... I'm pretty sure that you have to do exactly that. You have to hit this duck exactly that way, without dying, and then you get pushed in a way that you have a good angle. Oh, that was so close to being super good. What of course does not really help is that all the players in Real Madrid are not behaving that mature. So it's really hard to like them also if you wanted to try. I thought they would actually become a very sympathetic team when they got Alonso as a trainer, as a coach. But then they actually got rid of him. Oh, yeah. Oh, damn it. Damn, ducky. I'm trying to change it, Eingoffer. I'm trying to force a duck bounce, but I'm getting demoed, like you would say in Rocket League. And now in my worst run ever, I'm actually getting it. Huh? Of course, in the worst start out of every start of my last 10 minutes. That's so typical, right? That's typical Trackmania to you. Or was there anything that made it more likely that it works now? Because I was slow. I was directly behind you, even though I was 7,000 away? I cannot believe that. $7,000, you would really expect more people to be between us. I mean, this is of course possible, but... Ah! Damn it. What a start! Oh, what a bounce. Missed it. Okay, nice turnaround. Sadly, I don't need a turnaround here. Ah, I got so much grip. I don't know all the different versions that exist here. How did I manage in my first try going there to make that left turn without hitting it up? I wonder. How did I make that? Not having good starts now, because you remember my PB ghost was really slow. I should be much further in the lead. They don't? I always remember that in 2014 World Cup they actually switched the keyboard just for the penalty shootout. So they had two. That was so close, eh? Okay. But we Germans actually won't have Manuel Neuer, because he decided to not do it anymore in the German national team. And it is super sad for Marc-André ter Stegen, who was all the time just sitting behind Neuer, but was also a world-class keeper. And now that Neuer stops, is exactly the moment that ter Stegen is not really playing that much anymore, and also had an injury or something, so he is also not able. Like, now it would be his chance, maybe his last chance, because he's also getting older. But exactly now he cannot. It's like stupid. And yeah, I mean, we might... Ah, shit. We might have Oliver Baumann as our main keeper. We have many good keepers in Germany, that's a good thing. But obviously, also when you had Manuel Neuer before, then it is a downgrade. We have some young keepers and we have an experienced keeper with Oliver Baumann. But sometimes it's not the keeper that decides how it goes. Like Germany did really bad the last World Cups and there was still Neuer, so, and we couldn't change it. So. Ah, PP. Good night, Eingoffer. Yeah, exactly. The Freiburg keeper would be a young one, Orbik would be a young one. There's one more. I saw a YouTube comment lately that also said this guy should also have a shot in being nominated. Who was that? I think that he plays in the Premier League. Keeper in the Premier League. Who was that? There was also another German keeper. Leno was, of course. I'm not sure if is he still there in some club. I have actually no idea. But I'm also not sure if it was actually him that I'm thinking about. He is at Fulham. So maybe it was him. I'm not sure though. Definitely a keeper that had a really good game lately. Ach, Ortega, yeah, that was the one. Yeah, Ortega. He would also be an option. But I think he wasn't considered that much yet. No, I had a good feeling with this hit. I thought maybe this works. Ooh, God no. That sounds weird. I don't know about it. Is the connection, internet connection clean? Is that maybe a thing? And it does appear all the time, even when you reload or rejoin the map? But he has world record now on map 4 because the CP doesn't exist for him and he can just cut straight to the finish. Yeah, well. And you sure it's a bug? Yes, there we go, finally, boom. But this is not a better position? I actually expected a deep top 100 with this. And that was such a huge improvement. That was also my best start. That was my best start and this amazing hit here. How is this not better than 172nd? I'm so happy with this run. Holy shit. That is crazy. I expected here easily top 50. Also even lower. That was such a huge improvement. Almost half a second. Also maybe there's still something that I do wrong. Of course likely, because who knows. I have never driven snow car with wet wheels on plastic and wall rides. Could still be that I do a wrong line somewhere, then it is of course unfortunate. But that run was exactly looking the way I was wishing it. Also, this is, no, I'm really happy with this run. But if it's only that position, then yeah, what can I do? But yeah, so here are my overall positions. Also 29th, 49th and 24th. The first three were all really good. And then the two after the last raid were a bit worse. Here I'm also a bit surprised, to be honest. But yeah, who knows. I will now... by the way, in the front currently Tomacino and Crazy Dude Crook. And last week the winner was Dara. That's, yeah, we saw that earlier. Yeah, let's also discover the WeeklyGrand, the new map. AR down with the record. Nah, that's something that has to be changed. You can do the snob no-sub trick here. Ah, toll. I did not really think about the trick, yeah. That's sad. Oh. Ach ja, the map name here. We need more maps by Miss Please. And this here reminds me, of course, a lot on a part of the very first WeeklyGrand. Really fragile, and we have collidable ghosts. I see already that this is gonna be a shit map for this game mode here, with these blind jumps. Into like where you have also very forced lines with the jumps. There's like nowhere else to go. Oh wait, there are... I have to take them next time. These ramps. No, don't go there, what the fuck? Ja, okay, I saw it coming. Ah, natürlich, in my respawn there is a ghost. So you need a full speed corner basically to make this jump. checkpoints there. Away. Wow. Whoa! It didn't slow me down. That was just a nice small warping. Very illegal. No. But no, on the fragile. First place was annoying here. Tried to defend like a Max Verstappen. Is that enough? Easy. I just have to hope that there will be no ghost. Yeah, this is now annoying. That was possible. But just annoying. Are we actually already the last lap? No, it was just checkpoint 10 of 10. Oh, these corners are so undrivable. Great map, eh? It's lit. Oh god. They didn't invest a lot of time in building this. Ah, I saw it coming. I decided I go right of him, but I was also just distracted because I wanted to read something. go car for a while. It's a bit longer, this map, compared to the last ones. So this one you would not be able to finish before a Sunday EWC. Actually, this time, this Sunday, I am working, I believe. So this Grand Enduro race I cannot play, if I remember correct. I think I work Wednesday. And Thursday. And then very shortly on Friday. Then I have Saturday free for EWC and for also another thing. On Saturday there is a 12-hour race. And then on Sunday I'm working again. That's a very weird way to cut it off. Lol. Okay. Swidman said that Phoebe built this within an hour, including driving the AT run. Lol. I mean, the road looks really just super basic. The scenery? Oh wait! Guys, could this be the easy editor scenery? Could this be the pre-made scenery? When you go into easy editor? Could that be fully an easy editor map? With the blocks that we have? I'm not sure, because we have here some weirder turn combinations. But you can... But there are macro blocks. Like, no, if you are not using easy editor, but if you go into the normal editor, I think there are macro blocks with different landscapes. Maybe this is one of these landscapes. Because I was wondering, within 1 hour, even though this is not a lot of scenery, but within 1 hour you are not easily doing it. Because it still takes a while to create a scenery looking like this. It's possible, but I don't know. Okay, then next one. Crazy to be down already now in my second run. I'm not like this. I can say that I need to gain 16 seconds just by driving. Oh my god. But I wanted to check for possible cut. I was forgetting. Now here's a check. Now okay, here was a checkpoint. Yeah, then you don't cut that. But I should check, because once down was actually up there in the rankings, there has been a cut, but this is mostly road, so... Yeah, no, okay. inside of this car is the way to go. I can also go inside of this one. And here. Upsala. This is no. We want to have a good first lap. It's quite annoying. I often end up at these coasts and the exit out of this corner. This is a very important corner because you have done full speed for quite a long time. And it's annoying if they are on the way there. I mean, okay, the main idea of these ghosts is to be annoying. That was a 6 start. I'm a lot ahead now. So I can actually pass him already here. And pass him already here. Nothing happened. Now he goes inside here, and then he goes outside! Hello! Was this the Yarno Tully defense? No! The switchback didn't work. Ja, wie wisst ihr. Oh. Oh. Maybe I should build such a Quen and Buho map. Seems to be very likely that it will be taken. I have no idea how to even do that. That would be cool, I think. What are you guys writing? So have two routes, drive the AT one way, and the other way is slightly faster equal, so you never have Ghost, but that would never get picked. Yeah, most likely you could also hide it. But yeah, I would need to have a proper idea of what to build here. Oh my god. I had to release a lot here. Oh, that worked. Cool. Upsala. This ghost. Okay, nice ghost. God, I wanted to go right of him. But I think I had it also my first attempt with probably the same ghost line. These chicane sections are always the most annoying parts, obviously, because there is just one short diagonal line through those, and you have to expect that those ghosts here are going tight to one of the two apexes in the chicane, and you don't really know which one. Shit. Before penalty parts here. Have them very often in the way there. very important to keep the speed here because of the cut jump, basically. You always want to make this jump. That was close. The need for speed, I would have gotten some extra... I would have gotten extra turbo because I made it so close. Oh my god, I touched. That is small release, I hope I'm still fast enough. Yeah, that was a ghost. I wanted also to try to get to the right of him. But of course, if you take this turn full speed, you are just automatically ending up further left. I thought for a moment that he goes now suddenly extremely tight. Switch back! Decision to go right side. Minus 25. I have a chance to be down here. Despite this one moment. There's a chance. That's of course the main goal. Hopefully far enough in front there. Yes. And this is also the last lap. How come that there are no scams in the last lap? There's nobody here as well. Oh, hello? First place, world record.